Okay, so due to a technical error on my side, let's go ahead and recap what we just did because I actually paused the video and kept on configuring things. So CSR1, if we show run interface gig 5, we can see that we specified service instance 157 Ethernet, and we define encapsulation.1q 100-101. So we're basically matching on two different VLAN IDs, 100 and 101, right? Then we jump down to CE switch 20, and I created VLANs 100 and 101. We do a show VLAN brief. I added gig 0/1 to VLAN 100 and gig 2 to VLAN 101 to do VLAN separation. And I configured, so if we do show run real quick, we'll see that I configured gig 0/1 as an access port, VLAN 100, and then a port fast edge, and then 101 as on gig 2 for VLAN separation, and then on gig 0/0, I configured it as a trunk link up towards CSR1. Okay, and then on CE22, I did a do show IP interface brief. I configured the main interface as gig 0/0 10.1.100 to provide VLAN separation, and the same thing on 23. I did that, so you can see that those interfaces are associated to the right IP addressing. So 23 and 22 are separated based off of subnet and based off of VLAN. And then if we go back over to CSR1, on the bridge domain, we can see 16 and 17 showing up, which those are the MAC addresses from CE22's gig 0/0 and CE23 gig 0/0 being learned in from the switch. So in case I accidentally paused the video and kept on going and didn't realize that I had paused the video until I went to go pause the video, and I was like, oh, nice, Rob. So with that being said, that's where we're at now. So I'm going to basically do the exact same thing with CSR7. So on CSR7, whoops, Control Shift 6. Let me pause the video for real this time, and I'll bring you guys back in when. Actually, no, we'll just jump down. Yeah, let's pause. All right, so we're gonna go to global config, and I'm gonna do the same thing I did with the CSR1 with the pseudo wires. So I'm gonna type in the L2VPN. I'm gonna give it a name or context of 157. So CSR1, CSR5, CSR7. I'm gonna type in member, and then the VPN ID of 157, and then the member is going to be the IP address of the remote end. So in this case here, it's going to be 10.0.0.1, and the pseudo wire ID is going to be 17, and encapsulation will be MPLS. Member of 10.0.0.5, and the VCID is going to be, we'll do 57, and then encapsulation MPLS. So then we're going to type in interface gig 4. We'll type in no shut, bring him online. And then what we'll do is a service instance 157 Ethernet. We'll specify the encapsulation.1q is going to be 100 through 101. Okay? And then do show run interface gig 4. We can see that that applies. We're going to jump out of the service instance config, and then we're going to go to the bridge domain. So the bridge-domain 157, member is going to be VFI 157, and then member of gig 4, service instance 157. Okay, now we need to go over to CE switch 21, go to global config, host name is going to be CE switch 21, interface gig 0/0, IP or switch port trunk and cap.1q, switch port mode is trunk. Interface, and then we're going to go create VLAN 100, VLAN 101, and then we're going to type in interface gig 0/1. We'll type in switch port access VLAN. Excuse me? Oh, async? What? Okay, I think that's because I did the .1 by accident. So we'll type in switch port access VLAN 100, and we'll do switch port mode is access, spanning tree port fast, and then we'll do gig 2 switch port access 101, spanning switch port mode access, and then spanning tree port fast. So do show VLAN brief, do show interface trunk. Excellent. So everything is working out that way. I'm going to jump over to CE24. Go to global config. Hostname is going to be CE24. Interface is gig 0/0. IP address of 10.1.100.24/24. No shut. And then on 25, do the exact same thing. Go to global config. Hostname is going to be CE25. And then interface gig 0/0. IP address of 10.1.101.25. No shut this guy. So once he comes online, we'll be in good shape. There we go. And if we go over to CSR7 and we jump out of global config and we do a show IP interface brief just to make sure the interfaces are up. We do a show bridge dash domain. We should see MAC addresses being learned, right? We should see 19 and 18 being learned in on gig 4. These MAC addresses are CE24 and CE25 respectively being learned in, right? And we haven't done anything dramatic yet. We haven't gone in and configured, we haven't gotten communication to work between these connections yet. So, but if we were to look at the show L2VPN Atom BC, we don't have the connections up to, oh, did I not do this right? Let me show run L2VPN, section L2VPN. Encapsulation MPLS, CSR7. Show IP route. Oh, okay, that's my fault. Router OSPF1, network of 10.0.0.0, 0.255.255.255, area 0, and then MPLS LDP auto config. Once we get that up and running, so the problem is there the routing isn't up and running yet because I actually shut down CSR7, and we should form neighbors to 6 and 9 relatively quickly. And then we should form a connection to CSR1 here momentarily, which will be our point-to-point pseudo-wire. And there it goes. So now if we go back over here to the show L2, and now it's up. And if we do a show bridge dash domain, we haven't sent any traffic over that connection yet. So if I was to go to, say, CE24, for example, and do a ping to 10.1.100.22, I should be able to ping across, and I can. So if I go to CSR1 and I do a show bridge domain 157, we'll see an additional MAC address coming in. We'll see 18 coming across. So, and now mind you, that's through a switch, right? So let's do this. Let's test this out for CE25 as well. So we'll jump out of global config. We'll ping 10.1.101.23, and we should be able to get a ping to go. There we go. And if we look at CSR7 and we look at the bridge domain, we can see the bridge domain is sending us. We were starting to see MAC addresses propagate. So we between CSR7 and CSR1, we've got 4 MAC addresses being learned. 2 locally on each PE for the directly connected attachment circuit, and then 2 over the pseudo wire. So, and you can tell which one's over the pseudo wire because it defines a pseudo port that's not tied to a physical interface locally. So on CSR7 we see gig 4 is our attachment circuit for that particular connection. So with that being said, since we have that in play, now we're going to go to CSR5 and to 26, and this time here we're going to change it up. We're going to make the support channel between these two guys. At least that's the intent. So what I'm going to go to do here is the port channel config on the switch is easier, obviously, so we're going to start on there. We're going to go to host name is going to be CE-switch26, and then we're going to go to interface range gig 0/0 through 1. We're going to type in here, it's going to be channel group or a channel protocol will be LACP, and the channel group will be, we'll put in here just 1 and then mode of active. There's that. And we don't need to do an interface or anything sub-interface wise. Do show run interface port channel 1, because it should automatically, actually, interface port channel 1 switch, or let me go back underneath there real quick. Type in switch port trunk and cat.1q, switch port mode of trunk. Yep, and not compatible. Okay, so here do show run interface gig 0/0 and 1. Okay, and then interface port channel 1, switch port trunk and cat.1q, switch port mode of trunk. And then we'll do a do show run interface port channel 1, and we will, okay, so they're suspended. What this is basically telling us right here is you can't bundle layer 3, don't bundle. What it's basically saying is we can't go configure port LACP because the remote side isn't configured for LACP yet. So on CSR 5, we'll type in interface port channel, port-channel 1, and then we're going to come in here and type in encapsulation. Oh, so I won't be able to do a, is it a protocol? L2 protocol? No, I won't be able to do, you know what, I probably won't be able to do, yeah, LACP. LACP, you know what, I probably won't be able to do what I want to do. Okay, so what I'll do is on switch 26 side, I will simply come in here and interface range gig 0/0 through 1. The channel group 1 mode is on. Alright, let me do this. Interface range default, I'm sorry, default interface range gig 0/0 through 1. Oh, DFAULT. There we go. So interface range gig 0/0 through 1. Channel group 1 mode is on. And then the encapsulation switch port trunk and cat.1q, switch port mode is trunk. Oh, I think I just crashed the switch. We'll see here in just a minute. Oh, spanning tree is bugging out on me. This does happen with that. So let me go over to CSR. Yep, I just crashed the switch. So that does happen from time to time. So we'll just type in, and then you have to specify which interfaces are going to be in the trunk. So you have to define the port channel first, and then you have to go to the interfaces and call them from the port channel. So interface range, and we'll type in gig 5 through 6. And we'll just type in here channel group 1, and then mode is that's turning the mode on. So actually, let's go back underneath here and type in no shut. That should bring them on, because I wanted to show you guys what it would look like if we did a port channel. So good, now they're up. So let's go back over to 26. He should be almost done. Let me go ahead and pause the video while this is coming back up. Actually, yeah, let me go back to CSR 5. And what I'll do is I will type in the interface port channel 1, and we'll type in the service instance 157 Ethernet, and then we'll type in encapsulation will be .1q, and then 100 through 101. Do show run interface port channel 1. We can see that that's been applied. We can then go to the L2VPN VFI context. Actually, let me go interface port pseudo wire, and we'll type in this case here, it'll be 51. Encapsulation is MPLS, and the neighbor will be 10.0.0.1 with a pseudo wire ID of 51. And then we'll go up here to 57, and then encapsulation is MPLS, and then the neighbor is going to be 10.0.0.7 and 57. Get out of there. So that should be, let me just double check it on CSR7 to make sure that's correct. Show IP interface brief, show run section L2VFI, or VPN I should say, 57, that is correct. Go back to CSR5, and then we'll type in L2VPN VFI context is going to be 157, VPN ID is 157. And then we'll type in member of pseudo wire 51, member of pseudo wire 57, exit out here, and then it'll be bridge dash domain 157, member VFI and 157, and member port channel port dash channel 1, and then service instance 157, and that should be what we need to have there. And now on this side here, we're going to go to global config. Hostname is going to be CE switch. We'll do 26, and the interface range gig 0/0 through 1, which will be channel group 1 mode is on. And then we'll type in switch port trunk and cap.1q, switch port mode of trunk. Do show run. Okay, so now they're do show ether channel summary. Okay, so they're both up, which is good. Do show run interface port channel 1. Good. Now they're both in trunking mode. Do show interface trunk, and then we're going to go to VLAN 100, VLAN 101. We're going to exit out of that, and then interface gig 0/2, switch port access VLAN 100, switch port mode is access, and spanning tree port fast, and gig 3, 101. Port fast, and there we go. So now that we've done all that, we get to go to 27. We'll go to hostname is CE 27, interface gig 0/0, or interface gig 0/0, IP address of 10.1.100.27/24. No shut. And then we're going to go to 28, do the exact same thing. Hostname is CE28, interface gig 0/0, IP address of 10.1.101.28/24. No shut it. And so on CSR5, if I've done everything correctly, show L2VPN Atom VC. All my VCs are up, which is awesome. Show bridge dash domain. I am learning off of 157. I'm learning connectivity in from the port channel 1, which means the port channel is working the way that it's supposed to be, which is a really big deal because then this gives you some high availability. If you have a link failure, you're in good shape. So now what I get to go do is on CE27, as I am learning MAC addresses in from the other side, I should be able to go to 27, and I should be able to ping 10.1.100.22. And I can. I should be able to ping 24. And I can. Same thing with 28. I should be able to ping 10.1.101.23. and 25, respectively. Okay, so now with that being done, if I go back to CSR5 and I hit the up arrow, I should have a number of MAC addresses being learned, which I do, which is exactly what I'm looking for. I need to have that connectivity in play so I see that I've got multiple MAC addresses. Now, the whole purpose of this demonstration was to show you that you can associate a switch either through a direct connection or through a port channel, and you can also do the separation. So this is where if I needed to do propagation of a VM, or I needed to have layer 2 connectivity end to end to make two routers look adjacent to each other, or do some sort of if you had a switch with if you needed layer 2 connectivity, you can still provide it. That's the whole point here. However you decide to do it is up to you in that particular case. So with that being said, this is our demonstration. So this is manual VPLS, but we've added some complexity with a switch and a trunking and things like that. So basically this is VLAN based propagation, and I can add more. So let me up the ante a little bit on this. Let's go to 20, and then we're going to go to global config. I'm going to create VLAN 200 and 201, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create interface VLAN 200. I'm going to no shut it. And right now, it's going to come up because the trunk link is going to automatically add it. And I'll do the same thing for VLAN 201. I'll no shut it. Okay, so now if I do show interface trunk, I should have 200 and 201. And after a moment or so, we should see 200 and 201 come up. Now if we go to CSR1, and we look at the show bridge dash domain 157, I should have additional MAC addresses coming in. And once I send the traffic, let me go do the same thing for, let me show run interface gig 5. We don't have 100 or 200 and 201 coming in, so let's go add that. So interface gig 5, service instance 157 Ethernet. We'll type in encapsulation .1q, and we're going to say 100 through 101, and we have the option of doing a comma 200 through 201. Okay, so do show run interface gig 5. We just added more VLANs, so we've increased our capacity. Now if we jump out of here, and we do a show bridge domain, and we should start to see more coming in. So if we go back to switch 20, and we do a show interface VLAN 200, we do a pipe include BIA, we have 14, and we have, let's do 201. I wonder if it's, okay, so we should see that. Let's go over to switch 21 over here. Let's do the exact same thing. So what I'm trying to demonstrate here for you is to show you that as you scale this, more and more MAC addresses should start to show up, and you'll see this come into play, and you'll have to take that into consideration. Meaning that when you start to do SPIs or more MAC addresses and more VLANs, that information should propagate as well, and so the MAC address table on the PE side should start to grow. So we're going to go up to here, we'll type in VLAN 200 and VLAN 201, interface VLAN 200, no shut, VLAN 201, no shut. Let me go and on this guy here, we'll type in global config, do show IP interface brief. Right now there's no IP address on those interfaces. So interface VLAN 200, IP address of 10.1.200.29. I'm sorry, this is supposed to be 20. So 20/24. And 21 or 201 will be 201. This should be host name of CE-switch 20. And then we're going to go over to this guy here, and we'll type in interface VLAN 200, IP address of 10.1.200.21. /24, and 201 would be 201. So now if I try to ping, and actually on CSR7, real quick, CSR7, I have to do show run interface gig 4, config T, and we're going to come underneath here. We're going to do an add of 200 through 201. Okay, so now that we have that in play, if I go to this guy here, theoretically speaking, if I do a ping to 10.1.200.21, sourcing off of VLAN 200, I can ping it. If I go to CSR 5, I should have more MAC addresses propagating. So here, the problem that happened right now, this is actually an interesting scenario. Right here, what happened is all the other MAC addresses have timed out. So that means I'd have to go to CE22, and I'd have to ping 10.1.100.24, and then that would start to build this. Let's do 157. That would start to build up the CAM table again. And same thing with 23, ping 10.1.100 or 101.25. CSR5, the CAM table should continue to build. And then we'll do, let's go to here, and we'll do a ping from 201 to 201, but this will be a, wait, did I ping the right? That should work as well. It does. CSR5. Okay. So now that I've got all that built, I should, let's see, oh, you know what? I bet you I know what the problem is. Let me go, just to show interface gig 0/0 type include BIA. So we have 16. Is 16 being learned? 16 is being learned. Okay. So from 24 side, let's ping 10.1.100.22, and let's see, 27. So if we come back over here to this guy, there we go. Now we're starting to climb again. So there we go. So now we're getting the MAC address propagation to work the way that I want it to. And the same thing with 25. We'll do a ping to 10.1.101.23 and to 28. All right, so 5, come back over here. There we go. Now it's propagating a lot. So now the point of that little test was to show you that you can do an SPI or you can have something sitting behind it, but the whole point was to generate another MAC address. The more MAC addresses you generate, the more scalability, or so now imagine doing this for 20, 30, 50, 100, 1,000 customers. So that's 8 MAC addresses, right? Now multiply that by 100 customers, 8 times 100, that's 800 MACs. So you have to take into consideration how many MAC addresses are you going to limit yourself to. So if I was to come do this and do a show bridge domain and then MAC dynamic statistics. Let's see, statistic address. Is it going to give me the? It's not really going to give me the information I'm looking for. I was looking to see how many maximum MAC addresses I could learn, because right now we're about to lose some of these MACs because they've been sitting in our table for a while. Just imagine if you were doing dynamic routing, this aging table would never age out. So I don't know what the maximum is on this particular platform, but just imagine if there was a maximum. You have to take that into consideration for how many devices you're going to have and things like that. So keep that in mind as you're doing your deployments and your configurations, so that you don't accidentally overrun your box and potentially run out of MAC addresses. Don't make your router a hub by not being able to learn any more MAC addresses with layer 2 VPN. With that being said, that's pretty much what I wanted to show you in this video. We're going to take a look at some other variations of VPLS as we're continuing forward. I'm going to probably scale this out a little bit more. I'm going to add more nodes, and we're going to look at Q and Q in the next video so we can see exactly how that changes things. We're going to add a secondary tag. So basically, we're just adding another tag to our trunk configuration and see exactly how that comes into play and how we would move forward with that. Until next time, guys, thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Take it easy.